Welcome to Clever Money Hacks, the channel where money moves and life improves. In today's deep dive, we're tackling the 6 most profitable AI business opportunities projected to truly explode over the next few years, positioning you for growth before 2026 hits full swing. And we're not talking about, fleeting trends or that get-rich-quick hype you see everywhere. Our mission today is to analyze real projections, real market data, and find those serious long-term business opportunities.
Right. And that distinction is just so critical. The hype versus a genuine business model.
Mm.
We've really tried to sift through all the noise. And what we're left with are these 6 models that satisfy 2 non-negotiable criteria for, let's say, sustained high-income viability.
Okay, I want to unpack that. Let's talk about those 2 pillars. What do we need to check off every single time?
So the first pillar is the buyer. They absolutely must be a high-income buyer.
Okay.
We're talking about targeting individuals or, businesses who fundamentally value their time over their money. They'll part with cash much more easily because you're solving a real existential problem for them, not just some minor inconvenience.
So you're solving rich people's problems.
Basically, yeah. Whether that's a CEO's overflowing inbox or a corporation staring down a $50 million liability, they will pay premium rates for a real solution.
Right. So we're hunting for clients who see our service as a critical necessity, not just like a negotiable luxury item on a spreadsheet.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the second pillar, market growth. You have to find a genuine accelerating wave. I mean, success in business often isn't about working harder. It's about choosing the right wave that's just getting bigger and bigger every single year.
We need proof. We need the data that shows the market isn't just going to die out in 12 months. Okay, so we're hunting for serious growth, billion-dollar forecasts. Let's start the countdown then with number 6. This first section seems to focus on services giving high-income earners back their most precious commodity, their time.
And that kicks us off with opportunity number 6, the AI-powered virtual assistant business, or VA for short.
Okay, the rationale here feels pretty straightforward, but the AI part, I think, elevates it. It's not just about hiring someone to manage your schedule anymore. You're now selling things like research automation, proactive email management, really sophisticated task handling. You're basically augmenting a human VA with this exponential AI efficiency.
And what's really appealing here, especially as a starting point, is the low barrier to entry.
How low are we talking?
Well, the cost is low. You can leverage tools we all know, ChatGPT, Gemini, or even services like Fixer, to get structured training on how to systemize the whole VA process. No special certifications needed.
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah.
If that barrier is so low, how does someone charging, say, $15,000 or $20,000 a month, which is the high end here, differentiate themselves from the hundreds of other VAs just using basic ChatGPT and charging maybe $500?
That is the perfect question. And the answer is mastery. You aren't just selling tasks. You are selling the systemization of the client's entire life. The high-income buyer pays for data security, for seamless integration across all their complex platforms. They're paying for the guarantee that you, the expert, have already vetted the best AI tools and processes.
So you're selling confidence and guaranteed capacity, not just keyboard clicks.
Exactly. You're the system architect for their personal capacity.
I see. And the market size, I assume, confirms that demand is there.
Oh, it definitely checks the growth box. The global virtual assistant market is projected to pass $30 billion a year by 2030. And it's growing at a really consistent 20% annually.
Wow. Okay, that is a massive, reliable wave.
It is.
All right, moving up to number 5. This one seems fascinating, especially if you have a bit of a creative streak. It's the AI content repurposing service.
Yes, and this one appeals directly to the whole creator economy. We're talking coaches, high-level business leaders, companies using education-based marketing.
Yeah.
Basically anyone who struggles with content volume and consistency.
This is such a beautiful example of AI leverage.
Yeah.
You take one piece of long-form content, like a 1-hour podcast or a 2-hour webinar,
Right.
and you use tools like Opus Clips or Descript to just spit out dozens of short clips, quote, graphics, carousels, you name it, all tailored for, 17 different platforms? Most business owners are maybe posting once or twice a week on LinkedIn and Instagram, and their best intellectual property is just sitting there totally underutilized.
That time crunch is so real. I mean, CEOs know they need to publish constantly to stay visible, but the manual editing process is this huge bottleneck.
Yeah.
AI makes that process, 10 times faster?
And that efficiency is what you're selling.
Exactly.
So the cost to start is pretty low here too, right? A lot of these tools have free plans, but the effort, it says here it's medium because you're not just pushing a button.
No, you're not. You need that creative or marketing background to really direct the AI's output. You have to make sure the tone, the visual style, it all perfectly matches the client's brand.
You're the director, and the AI is your editor.
That's a perfect way to put it.
The source material even mentioned the content host only spends about 3 hours a week creating new content.
Only 3 hours? How?
Because their team repurposes everything. Every internal call, every training session, it gets turned into newsletters, posts, you name it. You're turning internal knowledge into external marketing.
And the income potential reflects that value. We've seen these agencies pulling in $10,000 to $30,000 a month with only, 5 to 7 clients on retainer?
And that's just one person. The ceiling is much higher.
Yeah.
And the market growth. It's just undeniable. Goldman Sachs projects the creator economy, your target buyer, to jump to a staggering $480 billion. So that checks both our boxes. Massive market growth and high-income buyers who absolutely need that predictable content machine. Okay, that wraps up our time and content leverage section. Now we're moving into the heavy hitters. These are the deep business integration services.
Right, and this is where the client shifts. We're not just talking about a high-income individual anymore. We're talking about small to mid-sized businesses with multi-million-dollar budgets.
Which brings us to number 4 on the list, the AI Implementation and Automation Agency.
This is where things get really, really interesting because now you're solving fundamental structural business problems.
Explain that. What do you mean by structural?
Well, think about it. All these established companies, they built their core systems, their CRMs, their HR platforms, way before AI was a factor. So they have these deep silos, this legacy infrastructure. They desperately need experts to come in and figure out how to connect AI, where to apply it, and, establish the best practices for what we call hyperautomation.
We should probably define that term, hyperautomation.
Good call. Hyperautomation is basically the strategy of identifying, vetting, and then automating as many business processes as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But it's not just one tool doing one thing. It's an orchestrated mix of AI tools, RPA, and other tech. It's a whole integrated system working for you.
So the barriers here are definitely higher. Medium cost for the advanced tools, medium effort. But the learning curve is interesting because the AI can actually write the code for you sometimes.
Yes, the AI becomes your junior developer. Let's say you need to connect a HubSpot CRM to a calendar plugin using something like Zapier.
Okay.
You don't have to code the Python script yourself. You just ask the AI, here's the data field from HubSpot, here's the required format for the calendar, write the Zapier code to connect them. And it does it.
But wait, if the AI is writing the code, where's the human value? Are we just selling speed, or is it more like insurance that the whole system won't just break?
It's the architecture and the translation. You're the one who understands the business process well enough to know what to ask the AI to code in the first place. You're selling the ability to diagnose bottlenecks and design a stable, scalable solution. That expertise is worth way more than the lines of code.
I'm thinking of that example. Martel Ventures' voice AI tool, Your.com. It takes or makes calls to book demos. An agency sets that up, and suddenly you've automated this huge bottleneck phone tag and turned it into predictable meetings.
And because you're solving those larger systemic problems for bigger companies with deep pockets, the income potential just jumps. $20,000 to $50,000 a month is pretty standard here.
And the market growth backs that up. The hyper-automation market is projected to hit $249 billion by 2032. The buyers are all those businesses with the budget, but none of the internal expertise.
Which leads us perfectly into number 3. This one links AI directly to the absolute lifeblood of any company, generating revenue. We're talking about the AI lead generation agency.
Okay, this is the ultimate trading dollars for more dollars service. The value proposition couldn't be simpler. You use AI to find the perfect buyer, qualify them, message them, and set up meetings for their sales reps. You're selling a guaranteed increase in revenue.
And the startup cost is surprisingly low. You need powerful data tools like Clay.com or Oplo.io, plus ChatGPT for the personalized copywriting. But the effort, it shifts dramatically to medium to high.
And why so high?
Because you need real mastery here. Marketing best practices, conversion psychology, setting up complex automation sequences. You're not just selling cold outreach.
No, you're selling predictable revenue. And that predictability is why companies will pay so much. If you can show them a guaranteed ROI, your fee isn't a cost anymore, it's an investment.
That's why the income potential is just wild. We know people in this space making $30,000 to $80,000 a month. Companies will always pay more for a service that directly feeds their bottom line.
And finding the buyers is the easy part. Just look for any service-based business running Google or Facebook ads. If they're already spending money on leads, they have a budget for your service.
And the whole lead gen industry is growing around 17% a year, mostly because these new AI tools make targeting and personalization scalable for the first time ever. It's a huge category to get into.
So we've covered leverage and revenue. Now we're making the final leap. This is the highest stakes area of all, managing institutional risk and compliance, the non-negotiable budgets.
This is where the really deep pockets come out. The problem isn't about saving time or even making money. It's about protecting the business from losing millions, maybe overnight.
Which brings us to number 2, the crucial high-stakes world of managed cybersecurity, specifically MDR.
MDR, managed detection and response. Businesses are just under siege right now because hackers are using AI for these incredibly sophisticated social engineering attacks. We're talking deep fakes, perfect voice cloning.
It's a whole new level of fraud. Standard firewalls just can't keep up.
They can't.
I heard a story recently that just gave me chills. Hackers spoofed a senior partner's voice, found a new team member on LinkedIn, and called them requesting an immediate change to bank account information.
And it happens all the time.
It's not just system vulnerability anymore, it's human vulnerability, weaponized by AI. That story alone justifies the spending in this space.
It absolutely does. Businesses need 24/7 AI-powered monitoring and, critically, threat response.
Yeah.
That's what MDR provides. Detection, containment, investigation, the whole package.
The barriers here have got to be high.
Very high. High costs for the specialized security tools, extremely high effort. You have to master cybersecurity fundamentals, threat modeling, incident response. This is definitely for technically oriented people.
People who thrive on vigilance.
And that's why the income potential is so high. We're talking $40,000 to $80,000 a month from MDR retainers and our response fees. You're getting paid for 247 protection against an existential threat.
And the market is just enormous. Any company handling private data or payments is a mandatory buyer. The global cybersecurity market is projected to hit, over $500 billion by 2030?
It's probably the safest high-growth sector you could possibly enter.
Which brings us to number 1, the top opportunity, targeting the biggest companies with the deepest pockets and the most restrictive regulations.
Number 1, responsible AI governance and compliance services.
Oh, that sounds a little dry, I'll be honest. But the money here is staggering because the liabilities are even more staggering.
Exactly. You're managing the regulatory exposure big companies face when they use AI on customer data, spending on health, security, and privacy compliance.
Yeah.
It's completely non-negotiable for them.
The effort must be high here, too.
Very high. The learning curve is steep. You have to be constantly studying changing data privacy laws, like the huge regulatory shift coming with the EU AI Act. This is a perfect niche for someone addicted to news, regulation, and future-proofing corporate risk.
You mentioned the EU AI Act requires companies to prove their AI is trustworthy. What does that actually look like for a business day to day?
It means comprehensive documentation, risk assessments, bias mitigation. It's a lot. They have to prove their AI models aren't making discriminatory lending decisions, for example. You provide the audit trail and the systems that prove they're deploying AI responsibly.
And there's another angle here, too, for smaller tech firms. You can help startups become SOC compliant.
Yes, which is the high-level security certification they need to sell their tech to the biggest, most risk-averse customers, hospitals, banks, Fortune 500 companies. If you provide that gateway, you capture immense value.
So your buyer profile is critical. Hospitals, major financial institutions, tech firms with safety budgets in the tens or hundreds of millions.
Right.
And because of that high-level risk management, the income potential is the highest on our list, $50,000 to $100,000 for the same number of clients, because these are standard consulting rates in risk and compliance.
And this market is just exploding right now. AI compliance spending is going to reach billions by 2026. When the government essentially mandates a service, the providers who can deliver those solutions will see just unparalleled growth.
So if we look across all 6 of these ideas, from the VA business all the way to global compliance, they all combine 3 things that separate them from the hype. 1, they all use AI leverage for efficiency. 2, they meet a real demand in a reliably growing market. And 3, they target high-income buyers who see the service as a necessity.
I think it's just so critical to end by underscoring the commitment required here. These are serious businesses designed for mastery. They're not simple side hustles you can just automate overnight.
Absolutely. The sources really emphasize this need to dedicate, what was it, 1,000 days to become truly great at one of these fields. It's that commitment to deep knowledge that separates you from everyone else who just dabbles. So consider this provocative thought as we wrap up our deep dive. If you chose one of these 6 opportunities today, focusing on its biggest hurdle, whether that's creative direction, system architecture, or regulatory knowledge, what is the single biggest skill you would need to master in the next 1,000 days to capture even a small piece of these billion-dollar markets? Thank you for listening to today's episode. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your ideas for future episodes. See you next time.